Hey everyone. So it's been a while since I posted any videos, and the reason for that, as you guys know, is I've been training for this tournament right here, which was the Age of Mythology Red Bull Wololo. It's the first tournament for Age of Mythology Retold, and it was going to be happening in Spain. I believe it's in October 6th or so. But if anyone wants to check it out, this is the Wikipedia page at the top right here. So I trained for the last week for this tournament, but unfortunately I fell a little short. And I started off with a strong showing, but today, or maybe like I think 5 or 6 hours from now, I lost 3-1 to a strong player named Vortex. And that's fine. These things happen. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and the times you lose, you just take it as a learning opportunity and move forward with it. So, am I upset that I lost? I am very, very upset. I worked really hard the last week, but that's just the name of the game. This in tournaments. These things happen. Sometimes, you fall short. You worked your heart out, but you still lose. It's okay. Like these things happen, and I always feel like sometimes when one door closes, another opens. So I'm just gonna take this I'm just gonna take this as a learning opportunity. There are some things that I'm gonna improve on going forward, and as always, one of the key areas when you do fail, like let's say you guys are playing a ladder game and you lose, or let's say you guys are actually playing in a tournament game as well and you lose. I think the most important thing to do is first and foremost is to watch the replays, which I was doing right now and I'm going to do with you guys very shortly. And the second thing, in my opinion, is to look at the external things outside of the game and how they may be impacting you. There are a lot of things that I'm going to be changing for in my own life right now to make sure that I'm in a better position going forward. Because this tournament, while it was very important to me, I neglected a lot of very important things in my life that I think that would have made me a better player and a better person overall as well. So, not to get too much into that and to delve too deep into that, we're going to keep it strictly regarding the game. So, I'm going to go over this game with you guys. I'm also watching it for the first time, so I'm going to see where I went wrong, because this is one of the games that's really, really bothering me, because I was in a massive lead and I was winning throughout the game, and then all of a sudden I just started losing. So this is my first time watching it as well, and I'm going to be going over it, and let's see what we can find together. So starting off, just started with the regular build, and I want to point out one thing as well. If you guys are ever playing on this map, Ghost Lake, the majority of the goats are going to be in the middle of the map. So you would generally send your oracles to the middle of the map here. And it's a 50-50 spawn, right? Sometimes they're there, but sometimes they're not. But the easiest way to get as many goats as you can is to just go to the middle, right? So you have some here and you have some over there. So I sent all my oracles to the middle. It's a little trick that you can do. A lot of people are not aware of it, so he's doing it as well, but he should be sending all three, which is one part that he's probably not aware of it at the moment. So I send 3 of them. I get 2 packs here, 2 packs here, and I get 2 packs right here as well. So this is a very strong start for me, and I was able to grab all of these goats. And then I'm just going to go back to my normal field of view. Now the one downside is this part of the map doesn't have any resources, so it's not really that important, but goats are very, very valuable later on in the games, because it will give you more time before you have to transition into farms. So it's always good to have these goats. Sometimes they could be pigs as well. It depends on the map. So just carrying on this build order, I've already posted it on my channel. So if you guys are, I'm not going to go too into the build, but just have a look at the build order posted as well. Another thing to note is there was a massive patch that hit on Friday, and then there was a tournament patch that hit on Friday as well. So there was 2 patches. So there was a lot of buffs that were given to Atlanteans. One of the buffs was they get 50 more wood starting off. So this is going to change the build as well, and I'm going to revisit this at another point in time and give you guys a more updated build. Okay, so the game just started off. I'm scouting to see his base. I see that he's on the the boar over there, and most likely he's going to be on the hunt right here. So got to keep that in mind. So you see, like sometimes when I'm reviewing the game, I can see these things, right? But when you're in the heat of the moment, there's a lot of adrenaline going on. You're gonna forget these things, and this is one thing that I forgot, which could have been absolutely valuable for me. If I actually If I was to go back into this game, knowing what I saw here and thinking about it for a second, like, okay, he's on this hunt here, so logically it makes sense for him to go on this hunt next. If I just thought about that for 1 second, I would have won the game probably by the 8-minute mark. And I'm going to show you guys this a little bit later on. So that's the first thing I just wanted to point out to you guys. Know where your opponent's resources are and where he's going to go next. Okay, so that's the first thing. The next thing, let's look at his settlement. This is an excellent settlement, right? He can go for the hunt here and he can go for the gold here. So I kept my oracle in this position just in case he takes it, so I can see. This oracle will give me this vision right here. So I had my oracle there ready to scout. Note that right now the game is still mostly unfigured out. Like, no one really knows exactly what the right thing to do is. So I feel like going for early town centers in this matchup, Uranos versus Kronos, is not a good idea. And you're also going to see I made my judgment about that after this game. So right now a lot of things are up in the clouds, right? We're not really sure about what the right playstyle is, what the right builds are, the right units are, and that's what makes this game fun right now, because nobody really has a clue. And we're going to continuously learn as the weeks progress. Okay, so this is a strategy that my friend told me about. And my friend told me about this before the game. I actually didn't really utilize this that much in my practice. This is the first time, one of the first times that I'm actually using this. And this is one of the dangers that comes from using a strategy that someone told you about, but not having practiced it yourself. You're not aware of the finer little nuances of the strategy. So overall, the strategy helped me a lot at the beginning, and you're going to see that I was able to pick off a lot of units. So one of them being, my comp was so strong, and let me explain the strategy, right? I mentioned the strategy is basically you go Caladria, so make a couple of Caladria, and then you go only Murmillo. When you advance through Oceanus, Oceanus gets an upgrade, which is the Bite of the Shark, which is this one right here. It's a special upgrade which makes your Murmillo do more attack damage and lets them bleed out on units. So meaning, if I were to hit this Terma would take additional damage from the Bite of the Shark, and then on top of that, he would bleed out, meaning he would lose HP over a few seconds. So this is a strategy my friend told me about before the game started, and I decided to use it. And overall it was working pretty well at the start, so I took a little bit of a victory here in this battle here, pushed him back, and from there on out I just tried to control the map as much as I could. So I'm going to send these units out forward. One of the bonuses of Uranos is after you hit a unit, you can see what the unit is doing for 25 seconds thereafter. So you can see that I still have vision of his units, and I saw that his units are going this way. So what does that mean? That means his units are going the opposite. If they're going this way, then my units can traverse this way and he won't even be able to stop it. So that's exactly what I did here. I know that his army is coming in for a raid, and they're going to raid here. If they raid here, I'm just going to retreat these villagers back into the town center. And meanwhile, while he does that, I'm going to go for a raid, which is this way. Okay, so now I'm going here, and I saw this oracle, so I'm just going to pick this off. In hindsight, what I should have done was probably send one guy on here, and I should have sent the rest of my infantry right over to where his hunt was. Remember I told you guys at the beginning of the game that we know logically he's going to go here because he was on this hunt. Makes most sense for him to go here. So if I sent all of my infantry there, you know, I would have got all of these villagers. The game would have almost ended right there and then. Maybe not ended, but I would have got at least 2 kills. 2 kills at 6 minutes into the game is almost game ending, right? So I should have branched off. I should have sent these guys here. I should have sent one guy here. Now, obviously he's not a dumb player too. He's going to know that his oracle is going to have scouted that my units are going forward. But it's irrelevant because if I send all my units here and let's say he retreats, just by him retreating from that position alone is going to be about 40 to 50 seconds of inactivity. His villagers are not going to be working for about 40 seconds. 40 seconds of resources on 5 Atlantean villagers is significant. So if I had done that, that would have instrumentally changed the game there and then. But instead I wasted too much of my units attacking this one oracle. One Murmillo would have been enough to clean this up. On top of that, I made a mistake right here. Instead of going this way, which I know his hunt is going to be there, I went this way. Why did I go this way? Because I know that his units were around here. Roughly around here. Because remember I told you that I saw them going this way. So since I saw them going this way, I know that they're going to be here, and I don't want to lose them. So if he comes back to defend his base, I'm going to lose those units. So I went this way. But realistically, I don't need to go that way because I know that his units consist of Terma. And Terma are only considered to be good against archers or ranged units. It's a counter archer unit. Now it could still be good versus infantry because they have mobility, so they can hit and run. But realistically, they're not. My army would still win. So the logical place for me to go would have been right there. So that was one mistake right off the bat. I think I could have definitely taken control of this position right here. Sorry, this position right here. I could have taken control of this, and this was a vital area for me to win some points right there. But unfortunately, I made a mistake there. So now the game is progressing, and let me put it on my field of view. So this is what I see, right? I don't have that much vision. I see this and I see this. I don't see too much, but the thing is my units are mobile, number one. They have 4.5 speed, and with this upgrade that I'll be getting at some point, the Uranus upgrade, which is Empyrean speed, I'm going to get them up to 5.2, I believe. So I have a mobile army, and I have these Caladria, meaning I can heal if I get caught out of position. So doing so, I just continue going on forward in the map, and I'm just looking for information, intel, right? I'm just seeing what does he have, where are his villagers. And I saw one unit here. The Caladria have an ability to debuff units, and by debuffing them, they make them a lot slower. So this one is 2.3 speed, and it reduces its attack speed as well. So it goes from 4 attacks damage per second to 1.7. So you can quickly just target off any stray units with this force right here, and that's what makes this strategy so potent. Okay, so I'm still doing pretty well, and now I finally realized, okay, what have I been doing all this time? I should have definitely gone there. Why didn't I go there? So I realized it a little bit too late, and I decided to go into that position, and he's already done with his hunt. Okay, so now I went to check this TC. I didn't see the TC, but I saw his units there. And my army counters this army because once again this is counter archers. Now he had some anti-infantry units, which are the Cairo Ballista. So what I did was I used my god power, my age 1 god power, which is shockwave, to stun them. And then I attacked his archer units, and I killed his entire army. So as you can see, like overall right now the game is going well for me. I'm in a very, very strong position, and I should in all sense be winning this game, right? I have a very, very strong position. We are equal on economy for now, but I have a massive military advantage. Okay, and I made him retreat from this area right here. He was on wood, I believe, right there. So he retreated from there. Now, remember that this oracle is not only seeing this town center, but it's seeing this hunt. And now this oracle spotted his hunt. And he doesn't have vision of the oracle, so he doesn't know I'm going. So what I did was I went for this right here, but I didn't want to make it so obvious. So I went right here, and I took one unit out of my mix, and I sent that unit here. What I wanted to do with this guy is just attack this counteraxe, make the prompt come up, the attack alert, and I wanted him to focus all his attention on this one area right here, so I can raid this area right here. But unfortunately, that didn't go too well because I believe his units saw me at some point here, one of his units. But anyways, I did get a really strong raid right off here. Okay, so I went and I got, I think, a couple villagers. I'm not too sure because I was looking at something else. And then he came back with his army, and I went into his base and I did even more damage. And while this is going on, that one unit I sent to distract him is actually killing a villager as well, so I got some good value out of there. So now I'm in his base, I'm killing his villagers. I killed this one, I killed this one, and I don't know if I killed this one, but I am causing a lot of idle time. And now his units, they went back to respond to this raid, so he sent his entire army back to respond to this raid. And since I saw his army going back this way, what did I do? I went back this way because I know his villagers are hunting there. So I went back there. Okay, so while I'm distracting him here, I went for another raid here. And I got some even more damage off on him. And he used this Chaos God power, so he was able to save his villagers. But this was a waste, because now my Caladria will just heal this army up, and I killed his entire army right here again. So overall, I have a villager lead, I have a military lead, and my army is more value as well. So you might be thinking, like, how in the world did I lose this game? And I was thinking that as well. After the game, I was like, how did I lose this? This is strange. One of the things is, I took a second TC. And I think right now in the meta that we have right now, you've got to be very careful with taking a second TC, because you can just get completely overrun. Okay, so I took it. I thought I was doing so well that I can easily sneak this in. I was still raiding him this entire time, keeping focus on him. And he got a little bit, he knows at this point that, okay, the game's not going too well for him. He's losing villas left and right. I have a military advantage. So he needs to push in right away, right? Because we're on the same age. We're both age 3. I have more army. I have more villagers. My army is better. And I have another town center. So he's like, oh, damn. Okay, I really got to make something happen. So he pushed in. Now he's pushing in, and he's trying to control this gold mine right here. So now my army has been raiding him non-stop. So they're a little bit out of position. My army's here. My army's here. Some of my army is right here. So does it make sense for me to take this fight here? I don't think it does. My army is not in position to take this fight. But what did I do anyways? For some reason, some silly reason, I decided to take this fight, even though I didn't need to. There's no way, there's no world in which 7 Murmillo are going to be able to take on 2 Chiroballista and 2 Satyrs, right? And some other units such as the Contarius. So I took a really bad fight for some seemingly weird reason. This got cleaned up. My Satyr, I guess he's probably going to clean that up at some point too. And now now I went from being in a good position where I was winning to being in a bad position. Like, look at the army value, 32 to 14. Villagers, I'm still ahead because I have this town center. But since I lost the military advantage, I'm going to be kicked off this very soon too. So what was the biggest mistake here? The biggest mistake is don't take a fight until you're ready. Buy as much time as you need. Unless you're on a timer, unless you're under the gun and you absolutely have to, then you would. But you see, I was still okay. I had enough gold in the bank, so I didn't need to. I could have just waited a little while. I could have just taken this gold mine right here, and I could have just waited, played the patient waiting game. But instead what I did was I just took on a fight directly when I knew I was going to lose. So I shouldn't have done that. That was the first thing. Here, realistically, I can still come back from this position, but now it's getting a little dicey, right? But it's still winnable at this point. It's not good for me, it's not great for me, but it's not terrible for me either. Okay, so he did his little damage, but he has to retreat because I have 4 towers here and a town center shooting at him. Okay, so what should I have done here? First thing I should have done was I should have blocked off this path so he doesn't come through here again, which I think I did very shortly. The second thing I've done is right away I should have fixed my economy. Look at this right here. I have 3 villagers on food. I have 6 on wood and 18 on gold. You don't need 18 on gold. So these guys should have been split to wood and food. And I should have probably just thrown in another oracle too if I could. So the first thing I should have done after that attack was gather my forces, gather my economy, and allocate everything properly, right? Because sometimes when an attack happens, you panic all of a sudden, and which is what I did. But after the attack is over, take a little breather, think about what you need to do, what you need to fix, and you need to fix it ASAP. So I didn't fix my economy. That was the number 1 mistake that I did here. You can see, like, look how much gold people I have on gold, and look how much I have on food. So I had a little bit of a brain fart here, I guess, right? The second thing is, you saw that his army consisted mostly of Terma. Terma are good versus Arcus, or good versus archers in general. What else does he have? He has Satyr, which are good versus infantry, and he had some Contarius as well. So what should you be making? Well, the first thing is, what should you not be making? And the thing you should not be making is this guy right here, Arcus. The reason you shouldn't be making Arcus, because these guys do good well versus them, the Terma, and the Contarius do very well versus them as well. So that's the reason, number one reason you shouldn't be making them. Why did I make them? Well, because I didn't balance my economy correctly, so it was the only thing I could have made. That was my biggest mistake. If I had balanced my economy properly, I could have been just pumping out Contarius, which would have done much better versus this army. Murmillo even would have done pretty well too, as long as I didn't take attack damage from the Satyrs, which have very good splash damage against infantry. But almost anything would have been better than making Arcus at this point. The reason I made Arcus was because it's all I could have made, because I didn't balance my economy correctly. Even now, I only have 3 people on food, 7 on wood, and 19 on gold. That's not a recipe for victory. That's a recipe for defeat. Okay? So now he's pushing in. Once again, I am behind, but this is something that you can easily come back from. It's 62 villagers to 52. So I have an economic lead, and he has a military lead. But what did I do? Like, this is something that I would never do, that I should never do, right? But I did it anyways. And that's because in the heat of the moment, in a tournament game, in a ladder game, you're going to get surprised. You're going to get a bunch of adrenaline put on you, and then you're going to make bad decisions. And the best players are the ones that are able to stay calm under pressure. Unfortunately, I was not calm under pressure here, and I tried to save this TC even though I know that I can't. And on top of that, I engaged with this army knowing that I shouldn't have. If you know you have an economic lead, which I did here, I knew I had an economic lead because I know that he doesn't have a town center, right? He didn't take this, and he didn't take this. So I know I have a lead economically. All I needed to do was give this up to him, let him have it, bottle myself up in my base, maybe just put my army right there, or just position everything around here, and let him come to me. Let him come and fight under a town center, and another tower. Not to mention, all of my buildings are going to be producing units into the fight. If I did that, I would have had an advantage there. But instead, I took a very bad engagement, right? Which, this is not even the end of it. This one is okay, but look, and he took his entire force and he routed me. So look. Note that when you take engagements with archers, you got to be very careful because they're very, very slow. They're only 4 speed. So you can't retreat after that. So I know that I can't really retreat. I'm going to lose almost all my forces at this point. So I'm stuck in between a hard place and a rock. I can't go back, because if I go back, he's going to get a lot of units for free. So I had no choice at this point to fight, which was also a losing battle. So I took this fight, and I got cleaned up here as well. And essentially that was pretty much the game deciding moment, right? You can lose one fight, that's fine. But losing a second fight after that, then losing your town center, you can't take too many losses like that. So it was sad, but this is essentially a game that I was winning, and the game that could have decided a series, and it turned into a game that I lost, right? So what does that mean for me in the future? Like, one of the things that I lack as a player is that a lot of my opponents play a lot more than me. I have a full-time job, as I told you guys, whereas a lot of these players, like Vortex is a professional RTS player. He plays for a living, right? So he's able to grind out 300, 200 games in 2-3 weeks, whereas I'm grinding out like 50, 60 games. So he has a lot more experience being in tough situations and being under pressure, under stress, right? Whereas me and myself, I haven't been able to grind out as many games as I wanted to. And during this tournament, there was a rule where the top seeds are not allowed to play ladder. So I was only grinding out games with 1 or 2 different people. So I wasn't able to see different styles and different types of play. And I think this type of style, I wasn't really used to it. And that's one of the reasons why I think this ended so poorly for me. So going forward, I think I'm going to be grinding a lot more on the ladders. I'm definitely going to be playing a lot more. And hoping that I can see a lot more different types of players and a lot more different types of games. Because if you're only playing versus 1 or 2 players, then you're not going to be able to really develop as a truly well-rounded RTS player. So I'm going to be on the ladder. I'm going to be playing with a lot of different players. That's the first thing I'm going to be rectifying. Second thing is I'm going to be limiting distractions going forward. a lot of times I told you guys that there's things that are going to be changing not only in the game itself, because sometimes it's not only about the stuff that you know RTS wise, right? Like even as of right now, my score is still higher than him. And now I don't think score matters that much, but it's just a testament that this game was mine for the taking, but I lost. And I think I lost because I was outperformed overall, and I wasn't able to retain um, the ability to play under pressure. So I'm going to put myself in more stressful, pressurized situations so I can play a lot better. I'm going to be limiting distractions going forward. I think one of the things that, and might not be that relevant to RTS as a whole, but for me as a tournament player, I have to be, I don't know how to say this clearly, but there are some people that add value to your life and a lot of people that take away from it. So you just got to choose the right people to surround yourselves with. I was training with certain people that didn't really add that much value, and to the people that are I know my training partners are watching this. I'm not talking about you guys actually. There was a lot of other people that were involved in the scene that I think were not adding value but taking away from it. So what I'm trying to say is it's not always about what you know in a game. It's also about the external environment, the things that are happening outside of the game. So you want to limit your distractions outside of the game as well, so that you can focus and put more time into the things that matter. So I'm gonna be fixing that going forward, and I have a show match which my team, I'm a part of Keen Gaming right now. They're organizing a show match for me. Me and Vortex are gonna go at it one more time. It's gonna be a best of 7 show match in about 2 weeks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start preparing myself a little bit more, and I'm gonna try to get a rematch against Vortex and see if I can perform better in the next one, and see if the things that I'm doing for the next 2 weeks are gonna play a difference in that. So I hope you guys liked that replay. Going forward, I'm going to be trying to finish up that Excel spreadsheet. I know a lot of people have been asking for it, so I'm going to work on that a little bit. And I'm going to be try to post a video maybe once a day is my goal, but at least once every other day. I'm going to be posting a lot of videos for you. I'm also going to be taking more time to play with each god. So what I did this time around was I did a guide on each civilization, but I didn't actually play that civilization that much. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put out a guide. So let's say the next guide is going to be on Greek or Norse or whatever it might be. Maybe I'll put up a poll, and then I'm gonna play that civilization, only that civilization, for one full day. So it's going to be a guide, plus I'm going to stream one full day of that, me playing that civilization and really understanding that civilization to its core. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and post another video of a follow through and show you different types of ways to play with that civilization. All right, so that's what's going to be happening in the future. And once again, just keep posting your feedback for the videos, and whatever you guys want to see, please let me know as well. This has been a longer one, but I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and take care, and see you in the next one. Bye.